Hello and welcome to the
Well,
Labor John Pod. God damn it, Gabe. God damn it. God, is it the lag or is it the disrespect that makes you interrupt me?
the disrespect.
Hello and welcome to the Labor John Podcast, where we do it like they do it on the History Channel, the Working Class History Channel, to be specific, the Working Class History Channel of Philadelphia channel, to be exact. My name is. Hey, man, I get paid very little for this. My name is Sam. And I think I make more than Gabe on this program, but here's my co-host.
I'm Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
And this is Labor John, where we talk about the working class history of Philadelphia and the surrounding world.
Channel.
So I have a presentation for you this very fine evening.
You're a crumb creep.
I don't think he shows up in this. I could be wrong. I wrote this a long time ago.
I'm going to use that to replace all the police brutality that's going to be in this episode, Gabe. Because today's episode is all about the
1963 racial justice sit-ins in Philadelphia.
Right, cool. Let's get into it.
So, first, some backstory, because this is Labor John, and we have to do a lot of backstory.
We love the backstory.
So Philly has always been a city with a very strong Black tradition and a fairly large Black population for a northern city.
Yeah.
And this goes back to both kind of the early tradition of Quaker abolitionism, which made it safer, which a big asterisk on that. But it was one of the safer cities for either enslaved folks who self-emancipated or Black folks that were born free. And so there was already by the early 1800s, there was already a standing tradition of a large free Black community in the city, which also then made it safer for people who are self-emancipating themselves to come and blend in with the free Black population, which thus, made the free Black population even larger. And it was also tied to the Underground Railroad. Pennsylvania was one of the earlier colonies or earlier states to. They didn't abolish slavery. They had the Manumission Act, which gradually got rid of it, but not until the 1830s. But anyway, for the purposes of our story, even in the early 1800s, Philly had a larger Black population than most northern cities. And so while the city, like I was saying, was one of the better cities, it did, still have a lot of issues. And despite having a large free Black population or a large Black population by the end of the 19th century, it was still a very heavily segregated city, despite segregation never having been officially enforced. You can see this with the 1890 cloakmakers strike, where Black women had been excluded from the cloakmaking industry, but were brought in to scab on mainly Eastern European Jewish strikers, which both opened up access to the industry for these Black women who were at this point mostly coming up from the South, from my understanding, because it was through there was one church pastor that brought a bunch of people up to do this work. More recently, to the summer of 1963, you also had the 1944 transit strike, where white workers did a sick-out strike in protest of 8 Black workers being promoted to trolley drivers. And on the right hand of the slide, you can also see the lovely Philadelphia redlining map, which was one of the instances where segregation was like officially enforced just by banks or banks and insurance companies rather than city law. It was basically that the redlined areas were undesirable neighborhoods where you like couldn't get a loan to buy a house, you couldn't get your home insured, and they would discourage people from moving there. Where I live in Germantown was becoming undesirable because of an influx of Italian and Jewish immigrants.
Oh man, the Italians were still getting it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yep. And it still maps onto the demographics of the city fairly tightly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild. North Philly has changed, but
I do like from the strike. I hate that the strike happened. Girl, let me tell you, I hate that the strike happened. But the signs that came out of that strike were fucking amazing.
They were.
The "We Drive Tanks, Why Not Trolleys" is probably one of my favorite protest strike signs.
That and "Race hatred breeds fascism."
Yep, that's another good one. And there's one about Hirohito too, or something. Now I gotta look it up.
So in the post-war era, after World War II, the city or Philly's black population more than doubled.
Hirohito's bullets draw no color line.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Gabe. Continue, buddy.
No, thank you for interrupting me. That was a great friggin' sign. And so post-war, city's black population more than doubles. This is both because of the post-war Great Migration, where black folks from the South were moving north for industrial jobs. And there had also been, during wartime, because the NAACP and A. Philip Randolph and can't remember his name.
Bayard Rustin.
Bayard Rustin, yeah.
Bayard Rustin. I mean, we did a whole fucking episode about it. We're like, what is this gentleman's name?
I am deeply embarrassed that I couldn't fucking remember. And Paul Prescott just wrote a book about him.
Do we leave Gabe's fumble in the recording?
Yes,
audience?
We do.
We do not cover up our mistakes like Sam.
Yeah, so basically, through the work of Bayard Rustin and A. Philip Randolph, war industry jobs were desegregated, or were integrated. And so because of that, there was also, even during wartime, to a lesser extent, but during wartime, there was an influx of black folks moving into northern cities because there were war industry jobs there, and then that industry continued after the war ended.
Cool.
So, because of all this, there was also increasing pressure from groups like the NAACP to ensure that racial barriers were removed from basically everywhere possible. Because even though northern cities, or Philly was a theoretically like relatively progressive city racially, ignore the redlining map.
Yes.
Yeah. There were still a lot of like unwritten racial barriers. Now we come on to the Home Rule Charter of 1951, which fundamentally changed city politics and created a new government body. The Philadelphia Council of Human Relations, which was charged with ending hiring discrimination based on race or religion in all city government jobs, and basically shifted hiring away from political parties that would hand out spoils after every election to an actual civil service exam system. So it took until 1951 for Philadelphia to have like a modern hiring system
Jesus
for
Christ.
civil service jobs. Yeah.
Most progressive
And
city in the world, Gabe.
well,
I will die for my country,
Philly,
Philadelphia.
I will also say Philly gets a feather in its cap for this because despite it taking until 1951, we were the first city in the country to amend its charter specifically banning racial discrimination.
You know, this is less than 100 years ago, everybody. This is not ancient history. This
Nope.
is like your dad's history, man.
Yep.
Okay.
My dad was born 3 years after this, and my mom 7 years after this. So
Well, my dad was alive during this. I mean, he was 2, so I don't know what he could do. But I mean, fuck, get that toddler out there. fight for racial justice. Come on, Billy.
Not only did this like completely change how the city functioned, it also solidified the New Deal Democrats as the political powerhouse in the city, because now you had a coalition of both working class black and white workers, and then like middle and upper middle class black and white liberals as well. And they elected the first Democratic mayor in Philadelphia since 1884.
You're a crumb creep.
It wasn't Rizzo. Not yet. So now the city had this new agency tasked with ending racial bias. And that worked. And that's the end of the podcast. So we don't have to worry about anything else. Yep.
Holy 15 minutes. God damn. That's good job, Gabe.
Yeah. It was a quick and easy podcast.
Cool.
The sit-ins were just a red herring.
Cool. Did you you got the payout, the Patreon payout, right? You got that? It's all cleared?
Yeah.
Check cleared. Okay, cool. All right. Good.
From the estate of Frank Rizzo.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And I'll see you in 3 months, Gabe.
Well, psych. Actually,
Gabe. There's more?
There's more.
The Philadelphia fans went wild.
More racial injustice.
Yay. So the PCHR did start off with a lot of popular support, and was greeted fairly positively. It was led by Sadie T.M. Alexander, who was the first.
Good name.
Sorry. Yeah, it was
good
a great
name.
First black woman to graduate from UPenn Law School, and already a prominent civil rights lawyer by the 1950s.
Nice.
So she was one of its first commissioners, along with Nathan L. Edelstein, who was the president of the Philadelphia Jewish.
Beautiful man? Woman?
Yes.
I have. Should we. Gabe, what am I looking at?
There are no images that I can find of Nathan L. Edelstein anywhere. So right now we have no image available.
How does it feel? How's it feel, Gabe? If someone sends that in, if someone finds one and sends one in like a minute when we release this episode, how you gonna feel?
If they send me a Google link that has his video or his image, I'm going to be very pissed off. But if they send me a call number at the Temple Archives, then I will be less angry. So we have the lovely Sadie T.M. Alexander from her graduation photo from Penn, looking fantastic. And then, I don't know what Nathan Edelstein looked like.
Let's just say Sadie was so badass that she was also Nathan.
Yes, she served in federal civil rights positions into the Reagan administration.
Damn,
and this lady did a lot.
She was around.
So throughout the 50s, the Philadelphia Council on Human Relations, helped push back against racial discrimination in city hiring for clerical positions. They also started pressuring unions to change their apprenticeship and membership practices, forcing them to allow black members, or trying to force them to allow black members. But by 1957, the council itself admitted that the complaint procedure alone cannot accomplish the objective of full equality of opportunity. So the way the system was set up is that in order for the council to do any review, someone had to apply for a union apprenticeship, get rejected, make a complaint to the council would review the evidence of the complaint, and then issue a ruling saying yes, this was discrimination, no, this wasn't discrimination. So, and then the council itself didn't have enough regulatory teeth to actually solve the problem by itself, because they couldn't go and decertify a union if it was being racist. They could just issue a recommendation to the city and being hey, just to let you know, these guys aren't playing by the rules. You can do with that information what you will. And that was kind of it. So by the 60s, it had become increasingly clear that while the council was doing what it could, both private employers and unions had learned how to get around their regulations. And there were still lots of both civil service jobs, private employer jobs, and union apprenticeships that effectively barred black workers from entry. There were sporadic boycotts against retailers and businesses that engaged in discrimination, and you started to see pressure campaigns mounting against both the PCHR and Mayor James Hugh Joseph Tate. And basically there were pressure campaigns against him to, actually do something about all of these businesses that were being discriminatory. So our story really starts in March of 1963 when the Philadelphia AFL-CIO's Human Rights Committee released a finding from a survey that they'd conducted over the past 2 years looking at racial bias in unions. They determined that attempts to end racial bias in membership and hiring had failed, and that this was especially bad in the building trades. This was followed up by the April 1963 Philadelphia AFL-CIO convention, where the results of the report were debated, and it almost immediately just turned into a shouting match between black delegates from the steel workers and white delegates from the plumbers, pipe fitters, electrical workers, and the Teamsters.
Oh, God.
Surprisingly, the carpenters were actually praised for their efforts at integration and were called a shining beacon of light.
One of my favorite bands. They could stop a nuclear war.
They could.
When's the last nuclear war we've had, Gabe?
Exactly.
Thank you to the Carpenters.
So the convention ended without any clear resolution to the conflict.
Cool.
But there were, there were surprisingly deep issues within Philly, or there were clearly very deep issues within Philly's building trades and the construction industry as a whole. Now, while all of this was going on, there was also a major city construction project underway, building the new municipal services building on Rayburn Plaza.
I like a good building.
Yeah. And many of our listeners who work for city government today are very familiar with the MSB because they now have to work there. Yay, hate it. And the fact that it's now full of rats because it wasn't properly maintained during COVID, and then everyone was forced to come back to work for kind of no reason. Anyway, MSB was of course being built using union labor from a number of different building trades unions. But the Philadelphia branch of the Congress of Racial Equality, or CORE, claimed that there were claimed that there was severe racial discrimination among the contractors working on the project. On April 12th, CORE announced that they would picket Mayor Tate's office, demanding immediate action on the discrimination. Tate had previously stated that he would investigate the claims of discrimination, but that didn't go anywhere.
I looked in the envelope.
I investigated myself, and I've done nothing wrong.
Hey, there's Philly mayors for you.
So CORE wanted, actual action on this, not just words. The next day, Sunday, April 25th or April 13th, 25 CORE pickets showed up in front of the mayor's usual entrance to City Hall. Interestingly, 24 of them were white. So CORE did a very good job of making sure that it was always an integrated crowd protesting.
Yeah.
7 other pickets actually gathered outside of Mayor Tate's home at 4029 North 7th Street.
Yeah, I knew they were going to roll up that cannon.
Yep.
We're going to Fort Wilson your ass.
They had picket signs saying, "Tate, act now. Freedom can't wait, Tate." The "freedom can't wait, Tate" is...
We should do that next May Day. We're bringing "Freedom Can't Wait" Tate signs. No one will know what the fuck we're talking about, and we won't explain any of it. Should have listened to Labor John episode all about it.
Yeah, clearly. Got to educate yourself. So, however, Tate was actually in Malvern for the day with his 17-year-old son, Francis. They came home about 20 minutes before the demonstration ended, and Tate got out of his car, was very clearly pissed off, and ordered the police that were there to question every single person present for identification.
Oh.
So all but one of the pickets at the mayor's house refused to answer any questions. The only one who did was Lewis Smith, who identified himself as the chairman of the Philadelphia chapter of CORE. He was also a vacuum machine salesman and a repairman. So,
cool.
Good, hardworking dude.
You were Philadelphia's outstanding citizen.
Yes, he was.
I like that one.
So Tate stated that the city's Bureau of Labor and Standards was looking into the claims and that he awaited their verdict before acting. That didn't really, satisfy CORE or Lewis Smith. So the next week, but they at least had made their point, saying like, we're going to picket you. They showed up, they picketed, and now it's the next stage in the fight. So the next week, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released their groundbreaking report. Their primary recommendation to the mayor was find someone else to deal with this. It's outside of our jurisdiction. Tate then went to the press and said that he did everything he could. He had acted promptly, and that he shouldn't be held responsible because the Bureau of Labor Statistics told him that they can't do anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Freedom can't wait, Tate.
Exactly. So, surprisingly, CORE was not satisfied with that response.
Oh.
Yeah. And just to give like a little bit of just to set the scene so you understand what Philly was like in the summer of 63. You had these protests going on, and at the same time, there was also protests led by the NAACP at UPenn, charging the school with racial bias, and in their, I think both in their hiring and admitting practices.
I thought like everybody liked knitting.
So
Gabe's so done with me right now.
it's been a long day. I canned so many pickles.
Gabe. No. Leave it for the Patreon.
That's not a euphemism.
Gabe, respectfully, that's the most Jewish thing you've ever said.
I'm fine with that. So, additionally, so you have NAACP protesting Hugh Penn, CORE protesting the mayor. There is also a new bill that was intended to ban racial discrimination, making its way through city council, which had support from a number of civil rights organizations in the city, as well as the president of the Philadelphia AFL-CIO. So
we should have another convention about it. Convention about it. Yes, I think we should have another AFL-CIO convention about it.
Well, that would be an ecumenical matter.
Father Ted, everybody. Stop listening to us and just go watch it. They have the whole fucking thing on YouTube. Watch it.
Yeah, whatever you do,
After
watch it
done,
I was going to say, whatever you do, watch it in a way that doesn't give any money to Graham Lineham.
Who's Graham Lineham?
He's the writer and I think one of the producers for Father Ted, but he's now a crazy insane turf.
Oh, Gabe, why did you ruin Father Ted for me?
The show itself is fantastic.
The writing is like half of a fucking show, Gabe, and the other half's acting. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. And Graham Lineham is funny. He turned into an asshole later in life. And that's my solution is if there's a show that you enjoy, but was written by a shitty person, pirate it. And that way no money goes to that terrible person. Also, Ardal O'Hanlon has some crazy range because he shows up in the Australian cop procedurals that, despite being Irish,
despite being Irish,
the random cop procedurals that Ella watches, and it's really weird seeing Dougal because he has the exact same face and expressions, but playing a very deadpan serious role.
He's good in Derry Girls too.
Yeah.
But that's more of a Dougal-esque role, I would say.
I am so excited for Wildwood. It had better not suck.
Oh my God.
We're supposed to be talking about something. President of the Philly AFL-CIO supporting the anti-discrimination law, but construction of the municipal services building continued, and there was still no resolution on the claims of discrimination by both the unions involved and the contractors. So CORE declared that they would continue their pressure campaign against Tate until some actual action was taken. And on Friday, April 19th at 3 p.m., 13 members of CORE appeared in the mayor's reception room at City Hall, staging a sit-in. Shortly after they showed up, George Shermer, who is president of the Council on Human Relations, arrived with a letter from Tate that instructed him to hold public hearings on the issue. He declared that the moment he could secure an adequate venue, he'd hold the hearings.
If we don't get Shy Park, it's not happening.
Yeah. It's got to you need good acoustics, you need to have good hors d'oeuvres. It's a whole thing.
We're not talking about Shy Park, are we?
Oh, well, that's true.
I would have loved to know the acoustics of Shy Park, but I don't know. Everything's on those old-timey black and white videos.
You probably, considering that, I guess the people watching from their rooftops were probably listening on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Until
know.
they heard that one crack of the home run and the ball comes over and the crowd
breaks the window.
Gabe, I was painting a picture. You God damn it. A Philadelphia life.
Dead air.
Fucking
I do
continue
like
the story. I love you.
I love the tradition, especially from the Shag Park era, of people building bleachers on their roof and then charging people to go up onto the bleachers on their roof.
Philly entrepreneurs, man.
Yeah. I would not sit on those bleachers, but I love the tradition of it. So next week, April 25th, there was a call for public comment that went out, and they did actually hold hearings. The commission was supposed to submit its findings within 30 days at the end of the hearings. So, another delay. April turns into May. The commission continued its continued its internal deliberation. Meanwhile, construction on the municipal services building, which Core still claimed was being done by companies who had biased hiring practices, continued. So, on the afternoon of May 14th, 1963, 16 members of Core came back into City Hall. This time they entered the mayor's reception room and declared that they would not leave until construction on the municipal services building was halted, and any firms who engaged in racist hiring practices were removed from the project.
Damn.
So initially, yeah.
That poor secretary, but cool. That secretary's like,
yeah.
My day just got longer.
God damn it. So the mayor initially responded by directing the Human Relations Commission to review the claims and meet with the Building Trades Council to come to an agreement. Then Sadie T.M. Alexander, who was one of the commissioners, as we discussed, agreed. Yeah, and Nathan. Nate Edelstein agreed and was setting up the meeting, but it was effectively it ended up being inconclusive, in part because some of the Building Trades Council members weren't available on short notice. She stated that a meeting would be set to meet later with the whole of the Building Trades Council. This, understandably, did not satisfy the core members in the reception room, so they laid out 3 demands. 1, Mayor Tate publicly retract his statements to the press that he did not have the ability to solve the problem. 2, that he commit himself to ending the racial discrimination on the municipal services building construction project. And 3, take steps to ensure that there's no hiring bias in all future city construction projects.
Okay.
So, yeah, like that's fairly standard. Nothing too crazy there. The mayor was supposed to host a press conference at 3 p.m. that day, but canceled it without stating a reason. It was probably, though, that the press conference was supposed to happen in the reception room where the protest was going on. So he didn't want to hold the press conference there.
You know who the strongest supporter of civil rights right now is in this story? It's that secretary. She's like, would everybody just get out of my reception room? Everybody, the mayor, everybody, just get out of here.
Seriously.
And let me go home. I want to go home.
Yep. I want to look up who Mayor Tate's secretary was. Because that...
if she's a raging racist, this is going to ruin everything, though. This is going to ruin everything.
I'd feel like she was probably relatively connected. Well, I don't know is the mayor's reception room secretary a civil service job, or is that an appointed part of the mayoral cabinet?
I'm trying to Google seppuku, but I can't. I don't know how to say it. Is there a U after the P, or is there 2 O's? Can I use a jagged PBR can?
Is there any other way to do it?
It's the Philly way. It's a citywide.
Okay, so it was clear that protest was, fucking up this day. By 6 p.m., security came in to clear everyone out, but the protesters responded to that by breaking into song. First singing "Freedom, Freedom, what we're sitting for is freedom," and then followed immediately by "We Shall Not Be Moved."
Yeah, baby. Fuck them up with a song.
So security responded to that by locking the...
Sing it back. Sing it back. Sing it back. Oh, yeah, you shall be moved.
Security agreed. They will not be moved. They locked them in and turned out the lights.
What?
Yep.
No.
Yeah,
Fire
so-
hazard. First of all.
Uh-huh. So
This
them
is a
in.
crime. This is a crime.
Yes. Like, they endangered these 13 people.
Cool.
Or 16 people. So 2 hours later, I think they realized that, came back in and turned the lights back on.
What? Oh, yeah. Shit, I left the kettle on and I left 16 core members in the fucking mayor's
God damn
reception
it.
office.
So the protesters were told that they were allowed to use the bathrooms and water fountains, but no one else was allowed to join them. So, yeah. Well, because you had to leave the reception room to go to the bathroom. So the police were like, you can go walk down the hall to the bathroom and use the water fountains and then just come back in here.
They got kidnapped.
A little bit. So, yeah, I think they recognized that, like, if they came down too hard on them, there was going to be even more problems. So they're trying to be nice about it right now.
No lights for you.
Yeah, but that also means that this was an effective protest because CORE was able to, like, fully disrupt the functioning of the mayor's office. And was so far getting away with it. So at 1:45 a.m. on the 15th, on May 15th, the protesters received a visit from Frederick R. Mann, who was the city representative, who urged them to call off the demonstration until he could discuss the issue with the mayor, but CORE did not budge. Now, all of that happening in City Hall. Over at the Philadelphia NAACP offices, Cecil B. Moore, newly elected president of the Philadelphia NAACP, announced that they would hold a mass meeting on the 15th at 1 p.m. to discuss how they would also fight for an end to job bias in the city, specifically in school construction projects, because that was Moore's kind of focus at this point. So that he announced that early in the morning on the 15th. Then at 10:15, Mayor Tate finally met with the sit-in demonstrators. He basically just, like, casually walked into the reception room and asked what seems to be the trouble.
Cockney police officer, cool.
Are you still here? Oh.
Well, free to making a wait, Tate.
Exactly. So he then proceeded to discuss the issue with the demonstrators. After 21 hours in the reception room, Mayor Tate made an announcement. Well, after the protesters had been in the reception room for 21 hours, Mayor Tate made a public announcement that construction on the Municipal Services Building would be halted until a review of racial bias claims by the Council on Human Relations. So at 12:20 p.m., May 15th, CORE accepted these terms, and the sit-in at City Hall, or the 15 sit-in demonstrators left City Hall.
We shall not be moved until we win, motherfucker.
Yeah, and they did. So shutdown orders went out immediately to contractors and unions working on construction. The contractors implicated in these claims were John McShane, or the John McShane Company, the general contractor for the site, Daniel J. Keating and Company, who had a $2,136,000 heating and ventilation contract, the W.M. Anderson and Co. Company with $449,000 plumbing contract, and the Willard Electric Construction Company with $1,522,000 in electrical contracts.
Okay.
Orders also went out, or stop work orders also went out to sheet metal workers Local 19, steam fitters Local 420, IBEW Local 98, and plumbers Local 1690. Oddly, John McShane, the general contractor, actually hadn't had any allegations of racial bias discrimination against him or against his company, because all of their work was interconnected with everyone else. It was determined that they'd have to halt their operations as well until a solution could be reached. John McShane also built a whole bunch of stuff down at the National Mall, and is weirdly important construction guy from Philly that ended up doing a whole bunch of municipal work kind of everywhere.
Okie dokie.
And it's just weird thing that Philly produced and then we never talk about. So
until now.
And he at least wasn't a raging racist. So
the bar is so low.
Yeah. I mean, for a white business owner from Philly, we take what we can get in the 50s. Yeah. So a hearing was called for Thursday, where union leadership would testify before the commission and answer the accusations of racial bias. All 7 labor leaders denied any bias in their apprenticeship and hiring practices. Mm-hmm. The sheet metal workers argued that they simply gave preference to the sons of members and employers. Mm-hmm. So that, of course, effectively meant that the same white families got hired over anyone else. They also, just casually posited that maybe there weren't any qualified black candidates who applied.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, also, again, every time there's anything like this that we read about, it's so frustrating that the arguments have not fucking changed at all.
Yeah.
And that
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that when we were talking about strikes from the not even 20th century, 19th century. The bosses always use the same goddamn tactics to divide us, and they're still doing it. Yeah. We're still falling for it. It's so sad. People, you gotta know your history, man, and you need some critical thinking. Those two together,
and that's why we're here sharing these stories.
That's right. That's what we're here for.
So, IBEW Local 98 testified that no applicant had reached the executive board in the past 5 years, no black applicant. The legal counsel for the commission responded that there had been an earlier witness who testified that he, a black applicant, hadn't been given any names of the executive board to speak to, and that he wasn't even given the right time of day when he had tried to apply.
Damn. That's cold.
Yeah. The union responded by stating that they had never heard such an accusation and demanded to know the witness's name.
Oh, no. Thank you. Next question.
So Sadie Alexander told him he had no right to question the commission in that manner. And IBEW then responded by comparing the commission to Senator McCarthy's HUAC hearings.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then finally, Steamfitter Local 420's business manager argued that any apprentice who can pass the test can be a journeyman. And that therefore there's no possibility of racial bias because it's just an unbiased test.
Bootstraps, Gabe.
Bootstraps. Always bootstraps. So a week later, on Thursday, May 23rd, it was announced that work would resume on the municipal services building, but 3 contractor firms would be excluded, and only the John B. McShane Company, who was the general contractor, would be allowed to continue because the commission found no evidence of hiring discrimination in his staff or in his employees. So basically, they kicked out all of the racist hiring firms. The unions named in the commission were allowed to resume work because basically the city recognized that this is the union problem was a much more delicate situation than they were willing to like start a fight about. And this is also tied into like, because of how the New Deal coalition was built, you needed the mayor needed the building trades unions to support him. And he knew that if he came down too hard on them, even if it was for a justified cause, then that he might lose union support and the whole like democratic establishment in the city would collapse.
I hate it here, Gabe.
Yeah, it was real complicated. And there was also like, at this time, there was also a concern that going the like legalistic route to integrate unions was also giving potential ammunition to groups like HUAC or to like something like HUAC or any anti-union argument, because then you could basically bring in someone to make a racial bias accusation against the union and use that as a way to decertify it, even if it was bullshit, if you like stacked the courts the right way. So I'm obviously the actual solution is that unions should not be racist, and that would solve all of these problems. But that is apparently too much to ask in 1963. So CORE, for its part, responded to all of that by issuing a demand letter to the mayor saying that they wanted at least 15% black workers on all city construction projects, and they wanted 60% of all apprenticeships in the union, 60% of all apprenticeships in every union named in the commission's report to be black.
Damn.
So they argued that the 60% black apprenticeship was because, in the words of Lewis Smith, they had some catching up to do.
I mean, all right.
Yeah.
If you put it that way.
So the next week, May 27th, an ultimatum went out to 3 companies that had a combined $685,000 in city contracts, including work on the municipal services building. They were told they had 48 hours to outline how they were going to solve their racist hiring practices over the next 30 days, or they would face losing all of their contracts with the city.
How do you stop being
Lewis
racist
Smith,
in 48 hours, Gabe?
You risk losing a lot of money if you don't, so figure it out. So Lewis Smith, chairman of the Philadelphia chapter of CORE and organizer of the sit-ins and the protests, came out and said that he declared this was a victory. They had shown that they could indeed force the city to actually act on racial discrimination and had won, honestly, pretty surprisingly large concessions from a mayor who was pretty adamant that he didn't have anything, or he had no power. Now, obviously, this didn't solve the problem overnight. And
it's solved in 2 nights, 48 hours, baby. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Racism is solved.
So Philly NAACP under Cecil B. Moore was actually starting to pick up some of the tactics that CORE had started. And throughout the summer of 63, they started picketing school construction sites where there had been accusations of racist hiring. So CORE demonstrated the efficacy of this tactic with the municipal services building, and then the NAACP was like, all right, we're going to take that and go with it.
Nice.
And probably, I mean, this also probably led to the Girard College protests as well.
Interesting.
So yeah, but that was the 1963 racial justice sit-ins in Philly. 1963 was a very big year for CORE. So
did we just do a prequel for our other episode, the Girard College episode?
I think we did, and also a hint at an episode that I need to write about the NAACP school construction protests, because there were a whole bunch of them, and it's a lot of Cecil B. Moore going around and being Cecil B. Moore and not taking shit from anyone.
It sucks to be named after a street, though.
It does. It's a little weird.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if there was the hospital in that street where that was born, and like maybe his parents didn't really, didn't think of it too much,
They might have like messed up the birth certificate where they were signing it, and they thought that the name line was the address for the hospital.
Yeah.
You never know. Stuff happens. Childbirth is crazy.
Yes, it is,
so,
Gabe.
Not
and
that
so
I would
is the
know.
working class. No, let me finish this. So is the working class history of Philadelphia and the surrounding world, Gabe. Thank you for that episode. It was beautiful. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Do you have anything else for us?
No.
What's this one do?
London, England, tea time, 19th September 1975.